Hi guys. For the month of May, I've given myself the task of giving you a foundation review every single day in May. So you will get a minimum of 31 foundation reviews before June 1st comes. I wanted to start this with an amazing foundation, and so here it is. I give you none other than the fabulous Armani Power Fabric Foundation. Stay tuned. As you can see on the left side of my face, it is completely done, and on the right side, she needs a stimulus check. So for starters, after moisturizing, I actually moisturize with Creme de la Mer. I'm going to use Mr. Smooth. This is probably one of my top favorite primers, okay? This is one of the best primers I have ever used. Absolutely love it. This is by Givenchy. So I'm just taking this and dotting it all over my skin. As I've gotten older, I have just started to use larger amounts of product because I feel like it's going to help me. It's going to make me look more youthful. So it probably doesn't do anything, but it makes me feel so much better. Now that I placed that, I'm just going to take a brush because I'm bougie, and I'm going to blend this out. Always gentle around the eyes, darling. There's even some days when I wear this with a bare face, just because of how great it makes my skin look. So I've allowed approximately 30 seconds for the primer to settle onto my skin, and now I'll go ahead and go with the star of the show, which is, of course, the Armani Power Fabric Foundation. And just to warn you, this is probably my second or third bottle, and this one actually, the shade is completely removed from it at this point because it's just been sitting in my makeup bag. And I'm going to guess on this, so I'm guessing that I wear shade 12. I do not remember what shade I wear. I would have to ask my SA, but I think this is shade 12. So I'm going to go ahead and apply this, and you can see like I have used this baby up. It's also good to note that shade 12 falls within the tan family per the Armani website. I wouldn't say it does, but that's what it says, because the deep shades, I think those are too dark for me. I'm pretty sure I'm no higher than 12. And here's the shade. It's just a beautiful, warm, golden color. Everybody wants to have a warm golden complexion these days. There's so many YouTubers that do that, and they do not have warm skin at all, and you can completely tell. Though I did use 1 to 2 pumps, I'm probably going to put some of this back into the jar simply because I don't need that much, because this foundation, as you'll see, it just spreads. Like it's a full coverage foundation. It's going to provide you with a lot of coverage, and I personally like medium-ish coverage, usually light to medium coverage, but with this foundation you're going to get more. So personally, I don't use that much. It may look like a lot on camera, but it really isn't. I'm just using a sponge to blend this out. Oh, it's so beautiful. Now I'm just going to go in with an under eye concealer. I'm just going to use Tarte Shape Tape, and this is in the shade Deep. I really have none of this left. I'm kind of scraping it. I need to go ahead and open up some other concealers because God knows I have way too many. And one thing that you'll notice from my makeup applications is that I will wear concealer that matches my skin tone. I personally don't like to have that highlighted look, that intense highlighted look where it's 2 to 3 shades lighter than my skin tone. I don't like that. So I tend to use a concealer that matches my skin because I believe in having a uniform complexion. And before the concealer sets, I'm going to follow up with a powder. I'm going to use the La Mer powder. This is a translucent powder that is very expensive. It's a $95 powder, but it is absolutely amazing, and it works on all skin tones. I'm going to go ahead and hit the nose and the forehead. Now personally, unless you're a drag queen, I'm not really a fan of baking, and so I'm letting this settle, but I'm not going to actually leave this on the skin for, 30 minutes to an hour or something crazy like that. I just want to allow enough time for it to actually settle, and so that it just leaves that smooth surface on the skin. However, while I wait for that, I'm going to go ahead and create just a little dimension with bronzer. So personally, I'm a fan of Guerlain bronzers. Guerlain invented bronzers over 30 years ago, and they're my absolute favorite thing to use with regards to bronzers. And so I'm just going in with a bronzer, just slightly under my cheek, And I'm going to go up like this because I want to create, now if I actually didn't have a beard, I would create a number 3. So I would actually do something like that. But instead, I'm just hitting right under here, okay? So I'm just applying that, and then I'm blending out the edges, just buffing that so that the foundation is not harsh. Oh, and the terracotta bronzer that I use, it's an old bronzer that's completely cracked and shattered, and I refuse to dispose of it just because I love it so much. I think the new terracotta bronzers, I think they no longer make my shade, or I think the deepest shade now is like not even close to what the deepest shade used to be. Like shade 8 Ebony back in the day was like a really deep shade, and I don't think they have that anymore. But I don't even use that shade. I use shade 5. And for a little highlight slash blush, I'm going to also use Guerlain's Terracotta Light. This is in shade 5 as well. This is something that is very old. This is so like, I've had this for so many years and I refuse to get rid of it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and apply that. Oh, look at that. I only want to move my cheek so y'all can see it. Look at that. Oh. Do you see my nose? Oh my God, it's amazing. And I don't have to put like contour, like a dark powder, like I don't have to do, you don't have to do all that. It's so unnecessary. And just sweep this in the same direction, because you will mess up your concealer and foundation if you do that the other way. Or if you start doing something like this, no, don't do that. Last but not least, I'm just going in with the mascara. I'm just using the Eccentrico mascara from Armani. And just for a final step, I'm going to use the Oil Eliminator spray from Kiehls. And we are done. So as I mentioned in the application portion of this video, I've replenished on this more than once, and that's simply because this is one of the best foundations that I have ever used. It retails for $64. I believe it's your standard 1 ounce 30 ml. It is it's a foundation that comes in over 30 shades. It's full coverage foundation. It has an SPF of 25, has titanium dioxide if that bothers you. Just so you know, has titanium dioxide. I personally have had no issues with flashback. It makes my skin look its absolute best in photography. I've worn it to important events or just outings when I want to look the absolute best, when I've gone to concerts, anything like that. I normally will wear either Power Fabric or I'll actually wear the La Mer foundation, which of course will be a part of this series. This foundation, like I said, it is absolutely exquisite. If you have never tried Power Fabric, like one of the best stories I have about this is that when my partner and I, when we went to DC, when I went to see Cher, coincidentally, the waitress at a restaurant, she literally was asking me, what do you put on your skin? You know, she actually thought it was my skin. Okay, that's for one. And, you know, and especially being, you know, in your 30s, like to get that type of compliment, it's amazing because I was so used to it in my 20s, but in my 30s, you don't hear that so much. But with this foundation, you know, she asked that question and I told her, and you know, she had she was a sister and she had deeper complexion. I said, they have your shade, girl. I was like, you better get to Mazza Gallery because this foundation, this foundation, it just makes me so happy because it's just when a luxury brand gets it right. Like this is one of those foundations, people. I don't have much to say about it because I've worn it so many times and it lasts all day. I've had no issues with this foundation. Like, you know, I've even sweat with it on. Like, it's not sweat proof, but you know, it's something that I have worn in so many different elements, all seasons. I can't say enough great things about this foundation. Like I said, if you've never bought this foundation, definitely check it out. Like I said, I believe I'm shade 12. Don't hold me to that. I recommend you get a sample before you buy. This is a gem. This is an HG foundation. I wanted to start this series with an amazing foundation just so that you can get a feel for what's to come. So I hope you enjoy, you know, this video. Leave comments below any questions you may have. Again, I will be doing a foundation video every single day in May. I happen to be behind because I recorded a video, didn't like the way it looked. I went ahead and just re-recorded this video, so you're going to end up seeing a video later today. So you'll get that video. Each video will be 10 minutes or less. This is a goal that I have for myself. I wanted to start a series of 5-minute reviews, but then I came to the conclusion that 5 minutes is not going to work for me, especially to do an actual application, to actually explain things in an application, and then to give you a short review. That's not my flow. Can't do that. But yeah, rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll be back with a whole lot more, guys. Bye.